Hello and welcome back to another UML Operator News Update for this channel. So in today's session, we're going to be talking about where we've come from since the last update and where we plan to go before the next update. So let's get started. So the question a lot of people are asking is UML and CASE still viable in the age of AI? So going out and asking an AI platform like Grok if UML CASE is still viable in 2025, the answer is pretty much aligned with what I have been saying since 2010. And that answer is yes, for the most part. Tools like class diagrams, sequence diagrams, state machine diagrams help teams align on complex projects, especially where precision matters: aerospace industry, finance, even e-commerce, and a lot of other business implementations or startups. That said, in a fast-paced agile environment or startups, you might see less emphasis on formal UML in favor of higher sketches or code-first approaches. Modeling is a broader concept, whether UML or otherwise, is timeless and continues to be. It's about abstracting problems, visualizing solutions, and reducing ambiguity. Even if you're not drawing UML diagrams, the ability to model systems like flowcharts, ERDs, informal whiteboarding is a superpower, if you will, in design, debugging, and collaboration. So let's keep going forward with unified modeling language and computer-aided software engineering in this channel. Let's first look back at where we've come from since the last news update. We provided you with building a native XML export from different projects. We then covered design in our data architecture part 6 as we continue the series. We published my first clones, then we went to want to switch views on a diagram. I got a lot of questions about that, so I published a video on that. Changing object types in Spark. Some of you have seen me do that and then asked, how did I do that so quickly and easily? And then after that, we published my first Kanban. Now, we did Kanbans or starting to dive into it because I find that most that understand Kanban or think Kanban, they think agile. They think, oh, user stories and project delivery, sprints, and so on. It's much more than that. In Sparks, you can use Kanbans to actually drive and manage your delivery of your architecture, your elements. You can manage specific fields, even tag values using Kanbans. So we published my first Kanban, and you'll see a lot more of that. We then published detailing design in our data architecture part 7. And then I kind of got stopped by the team and some of you and said, wait a minute, what about? And then when we were going into reporting, there was a lot of material that needed to be covered more in depth, which would made that video hours long. And so after part 7, we did my first mind map. And I did this for brainstorming purposes. We need to do a lot more brainstorming. Even in AI and machine learning, we need to do brainstorming to understand what we want AI and what we want our training models to do. So we brainstorm on those, and mind maps is the best tool. Then we did how to get started quickly in Sparks. Kind of broke away and wanted to show some things to help modelers get quickly started in Sparks. I was still seeing a lot of, what are you doing? You can do it 10 times faster than that. And then after that, we needed to get into my first perspectives, which also helps with productivity when driving your model. So we got into that. So getting those out of the way, we needed to cover a couple more subjects before we got into reporting as part of our data strategy architecture delivery. So we're going to be getting into glossaries that you see here and starting to drive your knowledge, your intelligence, the easiest possible way using best practices, because you can get inundated with terms and acronyms and things like that, and you could build quite the database in Sparks Enterprise Architect, but that can be counterproductive. It can get messy and really pollute your delivery environment for your models. And so I wanted to show how to properly use glossaries, whether they're project-based or particularly model-based. So we're going to be jumping into that. And then I think finally, we need to get into the next part of design before we get into reporting, because the team kind of stopped me and said I missed a lot of things wrapping up the design sessions and needed to show the tips and tricks and the things that I do. That's why we're bringing up Kanbans and we're bringing up other capabilities in UML and case, particularly in Sparks, to help with driving your intelligence forward. And that's the whole purpose of reporting. And I want to say reporting and analytics, or what you're going to call R&A, and driving visual analytics, whether you're in Sparks or you're in Power BI or some other visual analytics tool. So that's what's going to be going on over the next month as we get into June in 2025. And so I look forward to getting into that with you. So thanks very much for watching. I look forward to diving more into the subject of glossaries and driving your intelligence forward, how to best do that in building on your asset repository. That's where we maintain our knowledge management system. So it's going to be a lot of fun going forward over the next month. So until that next episode, happy modeling.